Welcome back. Mari, talking about the certification, US Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense will certify that these disbursements to Pakistan military is in the interest of the United States. So that means that whenever the US realizes that now that these are not in the interest of the United States, they will stop providing us the assistance.
I think, Kamran, as you can see, the only uniqueness which has come about in US certification is the fact that they're now bringing both the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense together. So it means that they need a both political-military analysis of the situation, which was not earlier perhaps so visible in other certifications, because in those certifications it was usually the President of the United States who was making these certifications back. I think the balance would always remain between whether the Democrats, and in this case Hillary, who has played a critical role in developing Indo-US relationship, will be the watch guard for the Indian perspective on it, or whether we will actually have the regional dynamics, or for example Pakistan military interactions, or perhaps the overview influencing that. I think yes, they would like to keep that certification there, but the only problem in this bill or in this aid, like any other aid which we've had with the United States, is that where is it that your say and your interests get represented, and what have you done to ensure that they are adequately represented? Whenever you take aid from any country, sometimes you compromise on those interests. The problem with us is that we have not outlined them very clearly, and what is it that we actually aim to achieve from the US aid as well, because we should be very clear as to what and where we think this aid is actually going to help us and how. If we have clarity on that, then we will have clarity on all these issues.
Do you think that we have clarity on that? Because as far as the government is concerned, civilian government is concerned, on this Kerry-Lugar Act, they believe that this does not undermine Pakistan's national interest, but the Pakistan military took a different view on the situation. Do you think that we have really clarity on this particular issue?
I think we have a great amount of clarity, and let me share with you something that I think we need to know. Look, the amount of money that's going to come into the military part of the aid per year is roughly around between 400 million to 500 million US dollars. So that's the foreign military finance side of it. Currently, whatever they've provided is night vision goggles, like I mentioned in the beginning of the program, flak jackets, and some good quality boots, and perhaps some communication equipment. Now that is what has come in as far as the American support directly into the Pakistani military for counterinsurgency is concerned. Remember, what the Pakistan Army is looking for is to enhance and augment its troop carrier capability, the helicopters, essentially. The second aspect is the augmentation of Cobras or replacement of Cobras, a study which is a part of the Kerry-Lugar law now, and the US Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State are going to give a study on it and recommend to the government of the US as to what is the best platform for the purpose of carrying out counterinsurgency. Now, if you look at the amount of these two areas, let's say troop carriers, helicopters of the type, and as far as they're concerned, the direct attack helicopters, now that itself is possibly going to take away about whatever it makes in the next 5 years in terms of both these major programs. So I think as far as the Pakistan military is concerned, the clarity is absolutely there within the 400 to 450 million that is going to come their way every year.
But of course that they are also talking about this Kerry-Lugar-Berman Act now, that some of the reports suggest that even after explanatory note, their concerns still remain, and some of the military officials privately have been saying that as far as these restrictions or the military restrictions are concerned, these are standard procedures of the Americans. The real problem is with the Kerry-Lugar Act. Do you think that we will see more problem in coming days and weeks as far as our relations with the United States is concerned?
Well, rather than getting into the details of Kerry-Lugar, and between the lines and trying to figure out what is well understood and what is not well understood, I would actually just say that Kerry-Lugar bill, particularly the money that is coming in for social sector, is something which is a grant in aid which Pakistan should refuse. Simply say that we are in a position to tighten our own belt and we can generate these resources. You see, $1.5 billion is about 120 billion rupees, And Pakistan's annual revenue is 1700 billion rupees, so it's about less than 7% of that money. So out of 100 rupees, it adds only to 7 rupees to 100 rupees. And out of that, those 7 rupees that will come in, perhaps 2 will go
but
back.
The government is saying that if we won't get this $1.5 billion, then again we have to go to the IMF.
Well, that's a different
No, the
reason.
point is that I also, have a poor man's dream, and I think my dream is that the government will say, okay, from now on we will have these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H austerity measures. We will not, send people on public money to Hajj and Umrah. We will not take very long entourage with us on foreign trips. We will not use public, sarkari transport for our children. All of those things, and we will cut down on.
So these steps, in your view, can generate a lot of money. That even we don't need $1.5 billion.
This adds only 5 rupees to 100 rupees that we already generate.
Okay, we have to go for a break here, and after the break, of course, our discussion will continue. Keep watching In Focus.